Mutuse did not appear to the majority, from what I gathered, to have owned the petition.
So it could be a proxy.
He could have been a proxy and he could
a
move of the motion. Because if you asked him anything, he could not with certainty say, this is the genesis, I'm backing it up with this number of evidences. He kept saying, I think, I believe, let me check. I don't have, in fact, at one point he said, I think I've removed those ones because I don't have sufficient evidence to back those particular allegations. So I think for me, I should be happier that he did not go that a select committee was dealing with the matter, then bring it forth to the full plenary. But then it is good for him to deal with everyone at the same time, so that you also get to have a good understanding, and you can almost tell the direction, if it is not biased, the direction in which the senators were thinking and what direction it will take. But again, I think we call on to the Speaker of the Senate that at this point he needs to give the Senate credibility, and in the manner in which he's going to handle this case. It is something that it's unprecedented. It is something that the nation is not just the nation, but I think even internationally it's being looked into. Kenyan are going to impeach their second deputy president. What are the reasons? If you look at the article, I think it's 150, on the grounds for impeaching the deputy president, then it is reasons, serious reasons, not just reasons, to believe. But Osoro, I mean, Mutuse kept saying, we believe. But it is serious reasons to believe. It's just not reasons enough. But are there grounds enough? If you say that this issue with KEMSA, he flawed the procurement process by interfering with it, dictating who should be awarded and all that, can you prove that he actually did it? Then you come and say, even though I'm here to testify, I was not even there then who are you? And then, you know, some of those small things, I'm not an advocate, and I don't want to appear like one, neither am I holding brief for the deputy president, but Mutuse should have owned the process. The Mutuse we saw in Parliament and yesterday, on day one, and yesterday Mutuse. In fact, even if you looked at his demeanor, there's a way he kept twisting it and rolling his eyes, like, did I just answer it right? Or, you know, like it's a game. Or already I know the direction of this, so I don't even care the kind of responses that I give. So I think it is going to be an uphill task for the Speaker, especially the Speaker, to make a ruling on this after they've recessed and look at the merits of both the advocates and come up with a proper judgment on it. Yeah.
Dr. Isaac, you know, James Orengo is the Siaya governor. At a time that there is a war of whether they should get 400.1 billion Kenya shillings, the National Assembly, in fact, insists that they should only get 380 billion, a cut of or a slash of 20 billion. The same governor comes to represent the same National Assembly that could be undermining devolution, because, you know, in the last fiscal year, they got 385 billion. The National Assembly wants them to get 380 billion. You know, the COG is really mad at the National Assembly. But in his capacity as the governor, rather than even lobbying the same house to increase their allocation, he's fighting for the house. Are we having also our priorities wrong? And does it put him on the spot that next time again he'll be fighting the same National Assembly that is now representing on increasing their revenue allocation?
Kenyans politicians will always amaze you. Indeed, when our politicians are asked what are the things they should do and what are the things that they are expected to do, none of them actually do their role according to the Constitution. You know, if you are elected, there was a reason for your election, and for the term that you are serving that office, there are things that you are expected to fulfill. When you see a governor leaving his people in Siaya, we know Siaya is very undeveloped. We know that when you look at the development of some of our counties, you know the situation is not bearing. And he takes all the effort to come to the Senate.
On pro bono.
On pro bono, to come and support the removal of the deputy president. I mean, that is a work that will have been done by people who have brought the motion and their legal team. You do not need a backup from another government official or a state official. But again, the sword always works in your favor when you are compliant with the government of the day. Simply because if he was on the other side of the quarters, for example, Kalonzo Musyoka's alliance of Azimio's side, who are opposing to the broad-based government, he wouldn't have come and support this process. For sure, he will have taken a different stand. But again, what value does he add in the process of coming to Senate as a legal person to support? In any case, the case will always be substantiated. The case will always be evaluated based on the mover. Last night, as she said, I'm not also a legal person, but from the layman aspect of what was going on, I think the mover did not understand what he was talking about. He could not even actually know the content of his own motion. And that indicates, again, another worry, that sometimes people will want to do things collectively, but when the reality comes and the right time comes, you'll carry your own cross. So it's not time to joke with the life of another person. I'm not saying Deputy President is not guilty for what he has been charged, because we wait for this to be proved. But from the onset of when the presentation of the people who moved this motion in the Senate, any person will tell you, until proven otherwise, the information they submitted there was not well substantiated. The other thing that is very crucial is he keeps on repeating saying, we. Who are we? And he is the owner of the motion. We want to know who are these we.
Perhaps on behalf of the National Assembly.
No, the National Assembly approved what he has tabled.
His motion, yes.
His motion. The motion is yours.
Yes.
And the only thing that actually the National Assembly did for him was to tick the box in initiating the process of impeachment. And in the real impeachment, where everything must be heard and substantiated, is in Senate. And therefore, he knew there was this moment when he was expected to articulate clearly what was the content of his allegations and give at least some proof. When someone tells you, I do not have a single allotment letter, and his complaint, rather his accusation, was that he has acquired this land through a wrong allotment letter. So where is the allotment letter? He was in a position to get it from the relevant authorities. Ministry of Lands is there to supply. If you will have written through the, he has the mandate to request from Parliament, saying that I have this motion, can you please give us details of ABCD for this particular parcel of land? And National Land Commission, Ministry of Lands would have been in a position to give. You can even ask, even myself, I can ask for any documentation, so long as I follow through the right procedure. Well, therefore, I think what is very crucial here at the moment is that as much as Gachagua has taken himself there, because the whole of this process was initiated by him, the fact that he has behaved differently as not the deputy president, but as the kingpin of the mountain, that does not necessarily mean that he should be crucified on a falsification. So as one of the lawyers from the, one of his lawyers has mentioned, is that there was, he used 3 terms where he said it could be falsification, ridiculous, and embarrassment. So he should avoid, the person who has taking the case forward should avoid all those 3 terms, so that he proves his case. And if he can't prove, then we wait the Senate to make the decision.
Something.
Well, quickly.
Yeah, quickly. They say he who comes to Equity must come with clean hands. And you had asked me about why the Azimio team is so much involved in this thing. And you know, someone wonders really, and I'm not here to pick on the governor for Siaya, but if you look at his relationship with his deputy, it's one thing. But then one of the things that they keep pointing out, how are you going to work? How is the deputy president going to work with the president if they don't see eye to eye? It's been over a year since the ruling by the Senate on the impeachment for the deputy governor of Siaya County. In fact, they say he doesn't even have work to do, as per what is being said. I don't know the truth about it. But then they're working somehow. So why should you come and say the reason why you are pushing for this particular impeachment is because you don't know how the president is going to work with the deputy president, whereas in your own house, you are throwing stone and you're living in a glass house. I don't think that is right. And I mean, that only speaks to the dishonesty and hypocrisy in our politics.
Wakili,
Yes.
11 grounds are there to be substantiated.
Yes.
So far, do you believe what the National Assembly presented as evidence
Yes.
amounts to Gachagua being removed from office, at least with the whole 11 grounds?
Maybe to arrive at that, we would at least try to juxtapose that question to the threshold that we need to connect or relate those allegations to. And the threshold or the marking scheme is found in Article 150. And it is the Constitution that says if you want to impeach a deputy president, you have to prove 3 grounds. And the first one is gross violation of the Constitution. The second one is whether the DP has committed crimes under national law or international law. And the third one is whether the DP has, by his actions, has committed gross misconduct. And therefore, that is the threshold and the marking scheme. So in each of these grounds, if you were to look at the first ground of gross violation of the Constitution, does Honorable Mutuse believe, as he says, that any of the 11 grounds has a violation of the Constitution issue in it? And to my professional belief, I don't think there is any, or rather, he has not proved any, because you needed to have said that this is the specific article of the Constitution. For example, just take a chapter on chapter 6 on integrity, and just take one article and say, this is the article that the DP has upset, and because he has upset it in this manner, and then you go ahead and prove it. If you don't prove it, you're going to have a problem. The issue of committing a crime under national or international crime law, and these are a known crime, and who adjudges people guilty of crimes? You need to have been convicted. If I tell you have committed a crime, the law does not say allegations of committing a crime under national or international crime, national law. It says you have committed a crime. And who adjudges people? There has not been any report made to the DCI or any police station within the Republic. At least not any report has been brought to, or was brought to Parliament, the National Assembly, or one that we saw yesterday as he testified and adduced his evidence. And therefore, no court has convicted him. Therefore, that ground fails flat-footed. The issue of gross misconduct is what the Honorable Mutuse in the National Assembly seemed to be so much pulling on that side. And you had the Honorable Senator, the nominated Senator, asking, why did you choose that dictionary to present the meaning of the word gross misconduct? Because when you have lawyers or people discussing such weighty issues, you will hear such issues of interpretation of even a simple word, a simple daily word. And therefore, the issue of gross misconduct, they needed to have shown that the deputy president, by his conduct as a deputy president, went out of his way and did an unimaginable thing that is so gross, so out of order for a person holding that office.
So this is a quasi-judicial. If at all Parliament upholds the impeachment motion,
Yes.
Rigathi Gachagua has grounds to move to court.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Well.
And those grounds were mounted from the National Assembly from the day they went to public participation all the way to when the Speaker yesterday issued rulings about introduction of new evidence, about the suitability of the Governor Orengo, and maybe many other things we are going to see today. So he has enough grounds. And the beauty of our constitution and our republic is that we are to uphold and obey the rule of law.
Well,
Yes.
at this juncture, we take yet another short commercial break. When we come back, we'll be getting a glimpse of what was actually happening yesterday in the Senate, and as well the projection of what next. We take a short commercial break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.